यस्त्यक्त्वा रूपमाद्यं प्रभवति जगतो अनेकथानुग्रहाय प्रक्षीणक्लेशराशिर्विषमविषधरो अनेकवक्त्रसुभोगी सर्वज्ञानप्रसूतिर्भुजगपरिकर प्रीतये यस्य नित्यं देवो हि सहसोऽव्यात् सितविमलतनुर्योगदो योगयुक्तः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Gently bow your head down. Bring yourself to the class. Prepare yourself for the session. When you're ready, gently lift your head up. Open your eyes. Externalize. Namo Namaha. Yes, we discussed the last sutra. Sutra number 24. Tasya hetur avidya. So far we have been discussing Heya Hetu, Hana and Hanupaya. What was Heya? Heyam Dukkham Anagatam. What is the meaning of Heya?
Disease.
Yes, disease or the problem. Heya. Hetur. What is the meaning of Hetur? Reason for disease.
Cause.
Hetur. Yes, so what was the sutra, last sutra that we saw? Tasya hetur avidya. In avidya we saw the cause of conjunction, sayoga, is avidya hetu. Now next two sutras will speak about hana. What is hana? Disease-free state or problem-free state or state of liberation or moksha. Moksha का वर्णन किया जाएगा. Moksha will be elaborated in detail. And finally then, Hanupaya, ways to attain this state. And we immediately begin after 3 sutras, the Ashtanga Yoga, Eightfold Path. Okay, so we will see today's sutra. Any questions so far? Are we able to relate? How are we being directed? By Sage Patanjali, Heya Hetu, Han and Hanupaya. Every grantha, every book that we see is devised in this way. First, a problem is discussed, then why the problem happened in the first place, then the problem-free state is discussed, how will life be if the problem does not exist anymore, and ways to attain that text. So all the text, all the scriptures that we see of Sanatana Dharma, of the Vedas, the Vedic scriptures, all of them are structured as per Heya Hetu, Han and Hanupaya. And the Hana for all the Moksha Shastras is going to be Moksha. So Heya Hetu is going to change. Hanupaya is also going to change. What is going to remain same? Hana. So not all texts are immediately taking the seeker to moksha. It's like a small child learning to walk. And we say just 2 steps and you reach there. You get a chocolate. Then the child walks 2 steps. We say more 2. Then you're going to get the chocolate. So similarly, from Sankhya to Yoga. Yoga concludes. We saw the goal of Yoga is Kaivalya. But we wait at Samadhi. So explicitly, it's not directed how to attain moksha, but how to enter the state of samadhi that this text guarantees. How to be in the state of samadhi, which is a prerequisite for moksha. So we take 2 steps from yoga, then we move on to the next philosophy. Further 2 steps until we are directed towards Advaita, non-dual philosophy. So from multiplicity to dualism, from dualism to monism. That is how the philosophical texts work. But what is going to be same in all the texts? Hana. Moksha or liberation is going to be discussed in all the texts. Heya. Heya is also almost similar in Buddhism, Jainism also. The Patanjali Yoga Darshana has elements of Jainism also, especially the next sutra that we are going to see today. It discusses this, and the next sutra, it has elements from Jainism also. So Buddhism, Jainism, some reflections are discussed or seen in yoga philosophy. Yes. Let's.
Guruji, small question. So with the timelines of Patanjali's Rishi Patanjali's Yoga Sutra versus the philosophy of, or rather the timeline of Buddhist principles and all of the teachings thereafter, was it coincidental, or rather were they coinciding together simultaneously at the same time, or one was older than the other, so that we can identify the references that you just talk about were either created simultaneously by Buddhism and yoga philosophy, or one influenced the other?
So in the previous sessions, we have discussed Jainism, oldest. If we see Jaina philosophy, then along with Jaina, yoga, and with yoga, we see advent of Buddhism. Because Buddha saw so many yogis. We saw that at the time of Buddha, more than 112 forms of yoga were prevalent. So what does this tell us? It tells us that the yogic practices were before Gautama. Yogic practices were still there. So Jaina, from the Vedas, if we trace back, we see offshoot as the Jaina philosophy, and simultaneously here then Nastika, Astika. Actually, I would say apart from Charvaka, all philosophies are Astika, because everybody is leading the seeker to moksha. Although they are categorized as Nastika, Jainism and Buddhism, the ultimate goal is not bondage, but liberation or moksha. So when I look at it from my perspective, I see they are also Astika philosophies. Just that they are not in with the teachings of Vedas, but ultimately the goal for the seeker is moksha. So apart from Charvaka, we see all of these philosophies taking us towards moksha. Now Hanam will be discussed. Tad abhavat.
Bhavat.
Sanyoga bhavo hanam.
Sanyoga bhavohanam.
Tadrushoho kaivalyam.
तदृश्यः कैवल्यम्
Tad bhavat संयोग अभावो हानम.
तद् अभावात् योग
तद दृशेः कैवल्यम.
तदृशेः कैवल्यम्.
Observe this verse. I will just get my spectacles. Yes. Tad abhavat. Abhava. We discussed Han as disease-free state or free from. Tad abhavat. Abhava of what? Ignorance, avidya. Tad abhavat. Abhavat is absence or removal. Samyoga, conjunction. Abhavaha, absence. Hanam, liberation. Tata, that. Drishyehe, of the seer. Or kaivalyam, absolute freedom is liberation. So what does this sutra say? By the removal of ignorance, conjunction is removed. This is absolute freedom of the seer. So we began with discussing heya dukkha और दुख का कारण संयोग है. हेय is suffering. What is the cause of this suffering? Sanyoga, conjunction between Purusha and Prakriti. What is the cause of conjunction? Avidya. Yes. Now, state free from avidya or this sanyoga is state of viyoga, which is liberation. Now, it is important to be understood that avidya rises from mithya jnanam, false knowledge. False knowledge. Yesterday we discussed, as we concluded, as per our vrittis, we take the knowledge to be whatever is the vritti. We were discussing Acharya Deshi. Who is Acharya Deshi? A teacher in the making. Guru Chela, kehte hai na? Chela, already learning from the Guru. So we also discussed the Lakshana of the Acharya. What are the Lakshana of the greatest of Acharyas? First Lakshana, शास्त्र के अर्थ को सम्यक प्रकार संग्रह कर लिया. Achinoti has taken the meaning of Shastras as it is with purity, without any vrittis or without any self-induced obstacle. The understanding of Shastra is taken as it is. और क्या किया? शिष्यों में स्थापित कर दिया. Acharyate. Whatever knowledge had been taken from the Shastras helped the students be embodied by that knowledge. So not merely the knowledge remained as information, it actually penetrated deep into the antakaran of the students. In antakaran, there came about some change in their behavior and way of life, in the way they look at life. So whatever the Acharya has shared, it is taking the students towards Viyoga further, not Sanyoga. It's taking towards liberation or freedom. Students have started clearing the knots of bondages. They no more have expectations. So such an Acharya who himself or herself has embodied the knowledge and also has the capability to instill this knowledge in the seeker, not merely at the level of senses, but deep into the chitta. Plant, reach the very core of the chitta and place it there. So even when the student is not learning, the knowledge is acting by itself. So beyond senses level, when the Acharya is able to make some kind of difference to the Shishya and the knowledge which the Acharya has shared stays with the student. What is the sign that the Acharya is able to do this? The knowledge which has been shared stays with the student. This is the Lakshana of an Acharya. Swayam archayate asmad. And self throughout life, even when not teaching, naturally teaches. Even when not sharing, naturally every action of such a teacher takes one towards moksha. So we are saying that because of this, because of having this state of viyoga, state where there is no sanyoga, and from whom this state is to be attained? From an Acharya. What kind of Acharya? Who himself or herself is in that state. Which state? State which is free from conjunction. state which is free from bondage. So in this state, now let's see, सम्यक पुरुष ख्याति होने पर ही चित्त का कार्य समाप्त हो जाता है, यह वियोग है. What is viyoga? Write the definition. Samyak Purusha Khyati, whatever the teacher has shared the knowledge, with that, slowly, power of discrimination starts building up in the student's mind. Samyak Purusha Khyati, and because of that, what happens? चित्त का कार्य समाप्त होने लगता है. The student feels there is no more many things to be attained or achieved by me except for moksha. Everything else is purely futile until I experience until I experience myself as the seer. So we see here the Bhashya. तस्या दर्शनस्य अभावात् बुद्धिपुरुष संयोग अभाव आत्यंतिको बंधोपरम इत्यर्थः एतदहानं तददृश्येः कैवल्यं पुरुषस्य अमिश्रीभावः पुनरसंयोग गुणेर इत्यर्थः दुःख कारण निवृत्तो दुःखोपरमोहानं तदा स्वरूप प्रतिष्ठः पुरुष्य इत्युक्तम्. Now further, they will explain what is Viyoga. So far, we have discussed what is Sanyoga. Now, state of Viyoga will be discussed. यहाँ लिख दीजिए, वियोग में जाने के लिए 3 प्रकार के संशय नष्ट होने चाहिए. To attain the state of Viyoga, 3 types of doubts must be removed. How will we know we are ready for Viyoga? Or if any of these three are present, we will not move towards Viyoga. And what is it? Sanshaya or doubt. Doubt towards what? Ishta. Ishta. The deity you have chosen to meditate upon. Your object of meditation can be deity, can be form, can be mantra. There must be no doubt on the instrument you have chosen for liberation. Ishta. Guru. There must be no doubt upon the teachings of the Acharya. And third, आपकी पत्नी या पति, your partner. If you are a grahastha, you must be in a state of absolute surrender, doubt-free state towards your partner. All these 3 are extremely important to move towards Viyoga.
I missed doubt towards deity, and doubt towards your
Acharya
partner.
or Guru,
Acharya.
your Guru, and your partner. If you are a grahastha, if you are not a sannyasi, your
Okay.
partner. These 3 should be removed for Viyoga. Vairagya and Viyoga. Are you able to see the difference? Vairagya. What is Vairagya? Detachment. And Viyoga?
Surrender. And acceptance.
Viyoga? State of no attachment.
Yeah.
Possibility. No possibility of attachment. So what has been detached can go back to attachment. Viyoga. From Vairagya, you have moved towards Viyoga, which means, in English, it may become little challenging, but in Sanskritam, I will try to help you with it. Let's try to connect it. In Viyoga, there is no possibility of going back towards attachment. And for that, we need these 3. No samshaya, no doubt. Because all these three are closely connected with us in our heart. One, our daily object of meditation. Second, teachings of Acharya. Third, our life. One is upasana, one is jnana, and other is bhakti. From Guru, you are practicing Jnana Yoga. With your partner, Karma Yoga or Bhakti Yoga. And with your meditation, object of meditation, Upasana, that also comes under Bhakti Yoga. So you can say Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga. These three are attained when these three doubts are removed. If either of these is present, you will not be able to progress. And if you have these doubts, what will happen? You will frequently change the object of meditation. You will frequently change the Acharya. And you will frequently change your partner. In all the three cases, you will get nowhere. So what I have with me is right for me. What I don't have with me is also right for me in this state. So what is with me right now is enough. Now from this state, let's see how we move towards Kaivalya. I have written a note in Hindi here. बुद्धि का ही स्वनिरोध रूप परिणाम या अदृश्य पथ की प्राप्ति होती है कैवल्य. So what happens in Kaivalya? The buddhi, what is buddhi? Mahat. Yes, this mahat moves towards swanirodha and adrishyata. Cosmic intelligence. How is cosmic intelligence? Explicit. So it moves from explicit to implicit. One that has been expressed understands expression can happen, but is not expressing. Why is not expressing? Because it's busy in thinking two things. Who am I and where am I? Therefore, no other faculty of expression takes place. Lisa ji, listen to this carefully. I will repeat again. When we are talking about Mahat, we reach a stage where there is no other expression. Why there is no other expression? Because we have progressed over Ahamkara. We have moved towards Mahat. In Mahat also, we only see the potential of Mahat to answer two questions. Who am I and where am I? Therefore, even if the cosmic intelligence exists, we saw yesterday, we pick what we want from it. And we are concentrated on that. So, freedom, Hanam, eternal cessation of bondage is experienced. Because where am I and who am I are nothing to do with the other. There is no Dvaita. It is about yourself. So it's more liberating to contemplate on that than to contemplate on any other knowledge. Where am I and who am I? Or what am I? These two questions are, what is the nature of these questions when you contemplate upon that and when you find the answer? They're more liberating, but not causing bondage, or they are not causing another influx of vrittis. They're not bringing any kleshas. So, in cosmic intelligence also, the other knowledge that we have is Rajasic. It's more active, filled with kleshas. But when we look towards these two questions, we move. We call it more Sattvic. As long as Rajogun is active, kleshas will be there in the mind. As long as kleshas are there, ignorance will be there. Or Mithya Jnanam, we call it Mithya Jnanam. As long as Mithya Jnanam is there, Kleshas, false knowledge, Avidya. Avidya, Sanyoga. Sanyoga, Dukkha. Heyam Dukkham, Anagam. So, the term Kevalin, who has attained the state of Kaivalya in Jainism, has been discussed in this sutra. Tadadrishe Kaivalyam. So, this sutra is directly connected with Jainism. So, this state of liberation is discussed as the state where there is no संयोगा experienced. अभाव है, संयोग का अभाव महसूस होना ही वियोग है. Unable to experience the conjunction is liberation. So when the cause of suffering has been removed, suffering also disappears. Contemplate on this verse for a minute. बुद्धि का स्वनिरोध रूप और अदृश्य पथ स्वनिरोध रूप of buddhi are the key terms here. Swanirodha, adrishya patha, from expression to non-expression, which can fulfill, which can be externalized, which can be expanded. That Mahat does not want to be expanded. बुद्धि का हो स्वनिरोध रूप परिणाम या अदृश्य पथ की प्राप्ति होती है, उससे दृष्टा का ना कुछ होता है ना हो सकता है. I have written a note here. The स्वनिरोध प्राप्ति is for the buddhi. Drishta doesn't need nirodha, will never need nirodha. Because through the Mahat only separation can occur. Separation can occur when Prakriti is understood. The Pradhan is understood completely. Once you understand one completely, you know the other is different. You negate it. परस्पर अलग है दोनों भी. So, the faculty in Mahat is Purusha Khyati. And next sutra will discuss. Now, how does this happen? How Mahat, which is cosmic intelligence, reflects on these two and understands the Pradhan. We will chant. Bhashyam. Atahanasya kaha praptyutpaya iti viveka khyatir aviplavahanopayah
अविप्लवाहानोपायः
विवेक ख्यातिर अविप्लवाहानोपायः
विवेकख्यातिरविप्लवाहानोपायः.
विवेक discrimination, ख्याति knowledge, viveka discrimination, khyati discernment or knowledge, aviplava undisturbed knowledge of discrimination, undisturbed. Yoga ruksha, how is the yoga ruksha experiencing? Sometimes when there is some trouble in the house, we have viveka khyati. Oh, this is not true for some time. But aviplava, constant flow of vrittis in the chitta. What kind of vrittis? Of discrimination. Viveka khyati. Hana, liberation. Upaya, the means. The means to attain liberation is uninterrupted discriminative discernment. So just prior to liberation, what is experienced by the seeker? Uninterrupted Purusha or Viveka Khyati. Uninterrupted flow in the chitta that I am not this. I am not this. This body is not me. And nothing is to be attained by the body. This body is not me. And nothing to be obtained through this body. Nothing to be obtained through this body. For sure, guaranteed, nothing to be obtained from this body. So, Shankaracharya here says, the gold which is not refined, like it does not shine. Similarly, a seeker who is not free from avidya. Gold is there, possibility is there, but does not shine forth. And with Viveka Khyati, what happens? Shines brilliantly. Gold needs to be refined. Similarly, even in stage of learning, avidya can still be there. And that's the reason we are listening to the Shastra again and again, again and again. So that by listening, the mind becomes aware of it. And the moment the mind is aware of something, it first replaces the vrittis, then reduces, and then removes completely. So, Viveka Khyati is the Hanopaya. Let's see the Bhashyam. Sattva Purusha Anyata Pratyeyo Viveka Khyati Sa Tvanivrutta Mithya Jana Plavate Yada Mithya Janam Dagda Bija Bhavam Bandhya Prasvaha Sampadyate Tada Vidutha Klesha Rajasaha Sattvasya Pare Vaisharadde Parasyam Vashikara Sanjam वर्तमानस्य विवेक प्रत्यय प्रवाहो निर्मलो भवति सा विवेक ख्यातिर विप्लवा हानस्योपायः ततो मिथ्याजानस्य दग्धबीज भावो उपगमः पुनश्चाप्रस्वः इत्येष मोक्षस्य मार्गो हानस्योपाय इति. What is अविप्लवा? मिथ्या और संशय से विपरीत अविप्लवा. Aviplava, state where there is no doubt and no mithya janam, false knowledge. Viveka Khyati, aviplava, constant flow of Viveka Khyati. When will it be there? When two things cease to exist. Which are these two things?
Doubt.
One is samshaya, yes, and other is mithya janam, false knowledge. False knowledge has completely fallen off. And mithya janam, that we say along with samshaya, doubt. Mithya Jnanam has reached Dagda Bij Avastha. What is Dagda Bij? Burnt Mithya Jnanam. It cannot produce any kind of false knowledge. So, in the faculty of intelligence, cosmic intelligence, what happens? Rest has become Dagda Bij. And Purusha Khyati remains. Purusha Khyati, separation between the two. Purusha and Prakriti.
Ma'am, can you repeat?
Dagda Bija?
Yes.
Yes. Aviplava, what is the meaning? A state where what is not there? Mithya janam or mithya jnana and samshaya. A state where neither false knowledge remains nor doubt. Then what remains here? Viveka khyati. Prakhyat. Pra means to shine. Shines forward. Viveka khyati. Prakhyat rupena. Prakarshena. What shines forward? Separation between the Purusha and Prakriti. Take a minute, absorb this. We had discussed Vashikara. Sinja, Vashikara happens, it is this state of Vashikara. Vashikara, Vairagya. And what happens with Viveka Khyati? It destroys all the other knowledge, Mithya Janam. All of that is destroyed. यही मोक्ष का मार्ग या ज्ञान का उपाय है. This is the marga, this is the path towards moksha. And what will Vivek mean? If you want to simplify, simply write down. Vivek is equal to Buddhi and Purusha. Difference between Buddhi and Vivek. Vivek का क्या मतलब है? Buddhi. What is Buddhi? Mahat.
Mahat.
Yes. Separation between Purusha and Mahat or the
Yes.
Buddhi. This is Viveka. Just make a note here. The knowledge of this separation is Viveka Khyati, which is prabala or strong. The knowledge that both of these are separate is Viveka Khyati. And is this knowledge going to come from the outside? No, it is already within us. We are not adding on to something we do not know. We are simply discovering what we already know by clearing off avidya, ignorance. All the shastras help us to what? Remove the false knowledge. And how does that happen? सर्वप्रथम विवेक ज्ञान शास्त्र श्रवण से होता है. First time there is Viveka Khyati experienced. Viveka, Vairagya, Shataka Samadhi and Mumukshutva. In 300 hours session, I am certain to have shared this with you. So first Viveka Khyati happens with Shravana. Even for one discourse, you go for one satsang in your life. Something tells you about impermanence. You suddenly feel impermanence of something. ये सबसे कुछ नहीं होने वाला. All of this is going to not stay. It is not going to result in anything permanent. So this for the first time stays with you. After that, yukti purvaka manana. What you have heard, yukti purvaka. Yukti is intelligent contemplation on it. Intelligent, logical contemplation on what has been discussed or what has been heard. And after that, yoga ango ka anushtan. The limbs of yoga are to be held every day. These are the 3 ways to attain. Limbs of yoga to be done what? Held. For whom? Yoga Ruksha.
These are the three ways to cultivate Vivek.
Viveka Khyati.
Viveka
Yes.
Khyati.
Constant Shravana, regular Shravana, Intelligent contemplation, manana. Intelligent means when I am not sleepy, when I am not dull, when I have not eaten. Always manana should be empty stomach. Let it be 30 minutes. But in complete alertness of mind. How should the manan or contemplation or listening should take place? When you are empty stomach, when the mind is alert, not sleepy, not filled. And also date and tithi, which time of the day are you doing manana? If it's closer to the moon cycle, avoid it. In the calendar, 8 days are to be avoided for contemplation and spiritual studies. 8 days. Now, since we are in different time zones, we are studying, but had it been offline session, what we would have done? A day before new moon, the new moon and the next day, a day before full moon and the next day. So these 6 days plus Ashtami, 8th day after the full moon and 8th day after the new moon. We do not ever study or take up any spiritual sadhana during these days. Because the state of mind is altered. Emotions grapple or emotions surface over logic. Therefore, how should manana take place? Apart from these days, any days. In fact, in the Gurukulams, in the Vedas, there is a holiday on this day. Nobody studies. We don't have a weekly Sunday holiday. We have holidays only on these 8 days. Ashtami and Purnima, Amavasya, one day prior and after to it. Till today also, I think even asana practice, some of the teachers in India don't practice Ashtanga during the full moon or the new moon. Who have learned at least, who've seen the tradition, they don't practice even the asanas, not only manana or contemplation.
What is the reason behind it?
The state of emotions is heightened and logic is less, because mind, which element governs the mind? Water. And moon has a direct effect on water, element water.
Yeah. I said.
Ji Hitesh, yes.
What is the practice that that's recommended on these days, ma'am?
Ekadashi fasting. 11th day fasting. Ekadashi is 3 days before full moon or new moon. You do fasting on that day if you have to be in control of the emotions. Ekadashi Vrata, Monday. I also do Ekadashi. You do water fasting that day. And we discussed whatever we eat, its effect is felt after 3 days. So whatever fasting you have done on that day, you see its effect on the full moon and new moon. So Monday is the fast. This time Monday along with Ekadashi for me. And which days also we should never start if you are a teacher and if you want to begin your course. Never begin on Wednesday. Never ever begin on Wednesday and Tuesday. Tuesday, Wednesday. Saturday. No. 3 days not to begin. Thursday is the best to commence any course. Not even Monday, Thursday. To begin any new course, Thursday you should take always. Guru, naturally, why Thursday? Because the ruling planet is supportive for the studies. What? Thursday. Planetary position on Thursday is such that one planet is in more proximity to the Earth. And this planet governs what? The faculty of learning. Ji, we have a question, Guruji.
Guruji, 2 questions now.
Ji.
First one is the relevance of 8. We understand the relevance of the 11th day, or rather the 3 days before the moon cycle finishes. However, you mentioned 8th day. Well, this is first time as to, could you please elaborate? And then I'll have one more question. Shall I ask now or later?
No, we can Ashtami. Ashtami is the day where we don't study. So Ashtami also has the same significance spiritually. We don't take that day as to be very fit for studies. So more fire is seen, observed in the body. Ashtami.
Ji. And then Guruji, the second question is more intellectual. Calendar. I figured that it's not an accurate reflection of our lunar calendar. Or the planetary, they don't, this Gregorian calendar doesn't refer to any of those at all. So how can we use this reference accurately across the whole lunar calendar? And if this is out of scope, I apologize. I just figured this is a curiosity that can.
Yes, yes. So see, still we have Mangala. So days are mentioned even in the Gregorian calendar. You see the astrological importance, even for the months. So somewhere those days can be taken as it is, unless there is a time difference where the days don't match. Right? A best way to do this, if you're into the Vedic sadhana, is to download a calendar. I will share a link with you, which I use for myself. Panchanga, we call it Panchanga based calendar, which gives us suitable times of the day to do sadhana, or what time of the day we can do any kind of auspicious practices. All of this is mentioned. So you will also have the sunrise and sunset, moonrise and moon setting for meditation. I will share it with you. Yes, we will conclude this sutra. 2 more minutes. Yes, what have we written? सर्वप्रथम विवेक ज्ञान शास्त्र श्रवण से होता है, बाद में युक्ति पूर्वक मनन द्वारा वह दृढ़तर तथा स्फुटतर होता है. After manana, what happens? It starts shining forth. You're refining yourself, starts shining forth. योगांगों का अनुष्ठान करते करते वह क्रमशः प्रस्फुट होता रहता है. Along with this, योग अंग, limbs of yoga, are to be practiced. Now, why it's yoga anga has been mentioned? Because next we are going to see the limbs of yoga. So they have been introduced here. तब उसे दृश्य विषयक मिथ्या ज्ञान उत्पन्न होने की संभावना निवृत्त हो जाती है. Whatever I am seeing, दृश्य विषयक मिथ्या ज्ञान, whatever is seen externally through the senses, through that whatever has to arise starts diminishing. You see everything, but none of that has an effect on the chitta. Internally, there is constant flow of two. Who am I? Where am I? Viveka Khyati, Aviplava. Constant flow of Viveka Khyati. Constant separation is observed. वैसा होने पर एवं दृष्ट दृष्ट विषयक राग सम्यक निवृत्त होने पर समाधि निर्मल विवेक ज्ञान की ख्याति होती है. यही विवेक ख्याति अविप्लवा या मिथ्या ज्ञान द्वारा अभग न होने पर ही उसे द्वारा हान या दृश्य का सम्यक त्याग सिद्ध होता है. In Hindi, I have written some notes here. Because of this, the mithya jnana, which is actually seen as an obstacle, stops. So there is no mithya jnana anymore. Since there is no mithya jnana, there is no obstacle. And since there is no obstacle, it's like you're riding on a road with no scooters, no other scooter. You're the only one and the road is only made for you. And you have to reach your destination. So there is no obstacle. You reach straight your destination, which is moksha or liberation. Obstacles play an important role. Obstacles come from avidya. Avidya comes from conditions. Avidya, we saw, is the mother of all the other kleshas. Asmita, Raga, Dvesha, and Abhinivesh. So during Viveka Khyati, Mithya Jana is there, but Dagda Beach, roasted. it doesn't disturb anymore. It doesn't spring up. Naturally, the intellect doesn't bring it forward. Only one stays constant. And what does a seeker do? Drishyaka samyak tyag. Such a seeker has given up what is being seen. Presently, whatever we are able to see, we immediately want to participate it. The senses are the invitation. Whatever is happening around us, we immediately have to take a leap and be into the participation of it. But after Viveka Khyati, what happens? Whatever the senses also observe, uska त्याग कर दिया है, sacrificed. मैं ही नहीं रहा, जड़त्व, मैं जड़ हूं. I am the gross body. I am the body. This sensation is not there. One doesn't consider oneself as limited, but in fact unlimited. So this limitation of the body is understood. Therefore, any body is not used as an instrument to satisfy the ahamkar. Presently, where are we putting our senses? We are engaging the senses to satisfy our ego. And we saw it comes from desire. From desire that comes from attachment. All of this leads to anger. Anger leads to delusion and confusion. Confusion leads to destruction of memory. Destruction of memory and intellect. That means you're actually destroying the entire Mahat potential. Leads to perishing, because the chitta at the time of death is still Vyuthana chitta. There is no Viveka Khyati or thought of discrimination before death. And we saw why it is important, because it continues as it is. The same chitta which has held the vasanas, desires, anger, hatred, jealousy, it continues. This is Kaivalya, where the Mahat faculty of cosmic intelligence, in the cosmic intelligence, apart from Viveka Khyati, everything else also is in Niruddha state. It internalizes. Dagda bij ho gaya. It is in seed form, not in expression form. This sutra concludes. 27 and 28 we will be studying on Monday. If it is your availability, it's a good day to study on Monday. Also Ekadashi, Monday or Tuesday. And then we begin Ashtanga Yoga when let's try to have 1 or 2 sessions, or after the Vipassana. I think after the Vipassana would be good, because I will be in sadhana and I will be able to pass on all the strength of the sadhana which I have done for 10 days. So we almost 11-12 hours of meditation every day and fasting. So if we begin, I feel if we begin the Ashtanga Yoga after that, it will be very suitable for us. And the first I'm going to do is take a session for Patanjali Yoga Darshan. I will not speak to the family. I'm not going to speak to anyone. So first thing that I'm going to speak is the session. So give me some time. I'm going to plan it for us. Just be available. No matter whatever work you're doing that day, at least try to attend for 10 minutes. After only the session, I will communicate or speak to anybody else. We shall conclude. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gently bow your head down. Feel grateful for this learning. When you're ready, gently lift your head up. Open your eyes. External eyes. Namo Namah. Hari Om.